Well, good evening, everybody. It's now 7 o'clock. My name is Brian Callahan. I'm from the Rotary Club of Canmore, and I'm your host for this evening's webinar, The Importance of Goal Setting. As you can see, Linda is our presenter, Linda Morris. I'll read her a short bio in a moment. I have a few little housekeeping items to take care of before we start. Just to be reminded that you will be able to see Linda and myself throughout the evening. We would ask that you use the Q&A section to ask questions of Linda, and we will pause from time to time throughout the presentation to answer those questions in a timely manner and keep you hopefully engaged for a full hour. So with that, Linda has control, and I will now introduce Linda to you. Linda Morris is the district lead for the club goal setting and achievement. Linda is a charter member of the Rotary Club of Calgary Fish Creek and has held many positions within the club, including president, treasurer, secretary, community services director, inbound counselor for the youth, and the youth on the Youth Exchange Committee. Linda retired after a 35-year career in banking, specifically international trade finance, managing a team in Western Canada. During her last 4 years of her career, she was fortunate enough to be part of a large corporate project responsible for the customer experience stream, where she learned many project management skills, some of which including project planning, timelines, goal setting, and measuring achievements. Currently, she's a member of the Calgary Fish Creek Club. She is the vice chair of the Rotary Youth Exchange, Rotary Learning and Development Committee member, and of the Board 5360 Director at Large. So Linda, I turn it over to you.
Thanks very much, Brian, and hello everyone on this Wednesday evening. Sorry, I'm just going to get my stop clock going so I don't go over time. Tonight we're going to get going on some goals. So I'm not sure if any of you were at Karen Blewett's session. How do I move this forward? Help. It was working a minute ago.
Try the page down tab.
No, I don't know if I'm just going to stop sharing and start again because it seems I am frozen or something on that. All right. Where are we? Slideshow. All right, here we go. So this is more or less our agenda. Sorry about that, guys. It was working fine until we said, let's go. So today we're going to talk a little bit about why the goals matter, how we're going to align our goals to strategic plans and our objectives, a little bit about where you put your goals in Rotary Club Central, a little bit about the new president or citations. I don't know if they're still called presidential citations, but the citations that you get at the end of the year. And at the very end, we'll talk about some resources in case I go too fast or you get lost somewhere along the way. So I don't know how many people know of Seth Godin or have read any of his books, The Dip or The Purple Cow. But if you're ever looking for a great inspirational quote, this gentleman has many of them with regard to leadership and inspiration and entrepreneurship. So this quote I thought hit the mark for today. The people who get things done, who learn, who grow, and who make an impact, those people have goals. So that's our topic tonight. So why do goals matter? If you have a strategic plan, an action plan with goals and objectives, you'll find that it's a way to unite your club. It's a way to have everyone rowing in the same direction. And it allows you a way to measure your progress against something that's more or less agreed upon. Secondly, your annual district goals, specifically membership, rolls up to the district. So if you have a 0 goal of membership in there, Mary's not looking very good at the end of the year. Presidential citations, we'll talk a little bit about that. But this year, presidential citations are going to be measured through the Rotary Club central goals. So if you have nothing in there, you won't be eligible for citations at the end of the year. And finally, the most important, a club without a vision or a direction or a plan, some goals and objectives, and a way to measure those goals and objectives may find it difficult to change or to grow or to succeed. You need to know where you're going to get there, more or less. So to get us started, Rick, are you ready with poll number 1? Let's see who we have on the line or what types of clubs. So this one is, do you have goals entered in Rotary Club Central? No goals, 1 to 5 goals, and so on down to, I don't know if we have goals at all. So we'll give that a few minutes or a few more seconds. And it looks like we've got almost everyone voted. So what's really interesting here is some of you on the line don't even know if you have goals in Rotary Club Central, which may just be a club communication thing. Looks like about 5 or so of you have no goals, 1 to 5 goals, 6 to 10 goals. So keep that in mind, how many goals you have as we move along. We'll see, you'll see what the impact of that will be going forward. So do I stop this or do you stop this, Rick?
Carry on. You should be good. You don't see it anymore, I trust.
No, I see it. I can exit out, but maybe everyone else can. So if you were at the session with Karen Blewett on strategic planning a little while ago, you would have seen that she had some definitions as to how you set up your strategic plan and what the difference is between goals and objectives and action plans and all the rest of that. So I just wanted to remind everyone about that. Let me just get this out the way. About what those definitions are. So the goals are the big arching pieces. So that's going to tell your club where you want to go. It's the plan. It's the result you're looking for, and it's fairly broad and general. It provides the roadmap. So generally, where is this club going? What is it that our culture drives us towards? And it's generally in words. Within each of those goals, you need to break it down because those goals may be a 5-year goal or a 4-year goal or a 3-year goal. So you might want to break that down, or you will want to break it down into objectives. And those objectives will focus your attention and your action. And they'll give you the instructions on how to get to those goals. They're steps. And they may be 1, 2, or 3-year steps. It depends on how big that goal is. And it usually gives you some numbers or specific dates. And what I want to talk about tonight is the outcomes or the metrics. So it's great to have goals and objectives, but if you don't actually measure them, you don't say, I'm going to get to this point by this date, there's not really a point of having them. So for example, I seem to be frozen again. I'm sorry, Rick, I don't know why it's freezing. Doesn't want to move.
You want to reboot, Linda?
I don't want to, I don't. Maybe I shared the wrong one. All right, let's. All right, let's see if this will work. So this is an example of what we're talking about. So the big overarching goal may be to retain and increase club membership to reach a total net membership of 50 by 2024. That's a 4-year goal. It's fairly large. It doesn't give, it gives you some direction, but it doesn't give you the how are we going to get there. So your objectives might be, we're going to create a membership committee, welcome promotion package. We're going to engage all members in fundraising or something. We're going to incorporate fellowship into the year to make sure that everyone is engaged somehow. And then when you come to the metrics, you'll need to count that. And the metrics are generally a 1 year. So for Rotary, we finish in June. So at the end of June, this year, 2021, we're going to have 43 members, and we're assuming that's an increase of 3. We might want to have, say, we're going to have sponsors, 3 sponsors for those new members. We're going to have a percentage of members that contribute to volunteer projects or are somehow engaged in the Rotary Club. It can be anything. You know, it can be, you're going to hold 4 fellowship events during the year. And you're going to make sure that most Rotarians are somehow involved. It's how we're going to keep our Rotarians. I'll stop here. So why we do goal planning is, are there any questions, Brian?
Not at this time, Linda, not pertaining to that. Carry on.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's set the stage for us setting our goals. The district has set a strategic plan, and in that plan, they've set 2 big goals for the district itself, and that's to build the diversity and to collaborate with diverse groups, communities, and other service organizations. Now, within that strategic plan for the district, they also have a section for clubs. What are they expecting clubs to do? What are they expecting assistant governors to do? And what are they expecting committees to do? So let's look at what they're expecting clubs to do. They're expecting clubs to build vibrant clubs. They want clubs to be sure that all their members are engaged. And this is, of course, to promote retention, create that vibrant club and bring in new clubs. And they would expect clubs to have their own strategic plan. So this is what the district wants a club to do, but what do you as a club want to do? And what are your objectives and how are we going to measure them? The district wants engagement in collaboration between clubs, and they have a focus on youth, so starting new early act, interact, Rotaract clubs. So that sets the stage for what the district is expecting from clubs. So what are you as clubs doing? Do you have a strategic plan? Do you have goals and objectives? And do they follow what the district is looking for from you for this year? And over and above that, when you have those objectives and goals, have you set measurements in place? Have you looked at the My Rotary goals and set up some measurements? So I think at this point, and hopefully it doesn't freeze me again, we can do poll number 2, Rick. And given the number of people that didn't know they had goals, this might be a similar one. All right, I think we're almost there. Got a few more people coming in. So yes, definitely. So those who do have goals, it looks like they're aligned with what the district is looking for. Some, there may be one, maybe, I don't know what that number is, but no. Again, we have the I don't know, so maybe a communication thing within the club. And we don't have any club goals, that does not surprise me, and I'll show you a little later on why. And we don't have a current strategic plan, that also may not surprise me. Or when we look on the district website, there is not a lot of club plans showing on the district website. So that could again just be not loaded. So do you want to close off that poll, Rick?
Have done.
Okay. Oh, for goodness sakes.
Linda, I'm just going to offer our participants a comment. Someone was asking about the percentage of when we look at the polls. Always keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that is a percentage of those completing the poll, not necessarily those all in attendance tonight.
Right. All right, where did we get to? I'm not sure why this is doing this. It seems every time we have a poll, it freezes me somehow.
Mhm.
Well, that was poll 2. Okay, so now let's look at the goals, where you go, how you put them in, and what they mean. So the goals are in My Rotary, and it's in a section called Rotary Club Central. And there are a total of 25 goals, possible goals for a club to enter. And to get to them, you go to My Rotary. There's numerous ways to get to Rotary Club Central. This was the easiest one to snip. So Member Center, Online Tools, Rotary Club Central, or scroll down on your main page and you'll see go to Rotary Club Central. And you want to go to the Goal Center. So the way the goals are set up in My Rotary Club Central are into 5 categories. They break out into membership and engagement, and there's 8 possible goals within there. Rotary Foundation and giving, and there's 5 possible goals. Young leaders, service, and this one we'll talk about a little more. It just says 1 goal, but there's a separate section, and public image. So 25 goals sounds like a lot of measuring to do, but it's actually not. Those 25 goals are show up in different ways. So there are goals that you put in the goal, and you actually have to manually go in and put in the achievement. There are other goals that are automatically entered. So this would be some sort of a foundation goal. Membership goal would fall into this category. So you just put the goal in, and My Rotary or RI or however it works are the ones that fill in the achievement for you. And then there's a third type of goal. It's really just a yes or no. So this is a very easy one. So you select the goal, and then throughout the year, you say whether you achieved it or not. And an example of this would be, I have an online presence. So really easy to separate out the 3 different types of goals. So 25 sounds a lot, but it's not as manual or cumbersome as one would think. These are the types of goals under membership and engagement. And if I could ask everyone to please put this one in the very top one. As of June 30th, 2021, how many members will your club have? Don't put what your increase will be, 4, 5, 6. Put what your final number will be at the end. And I'll give you an example of why that is important. This one here, it's the number of members that participate in service activities. And this one, we do have a separate, we'll talk about more. New member sponsorships, In order to get this, when you sign up a new member, they generally are sponsored by someone, and there's a place in Club Runner when you add that person to put the name of the sponsor. I'd encourage you to do that so you can sort of keep track, and my Rotary keeps track of who brings in new members as well. And so on. It goes all the way down. This is an easy one. How many from your club are going to the district conference? Our club is keen on district conference, and we do this one every year. So there are descriptions of each and every one of these, but I don't want to go into all of that detail right now. I just want you to be aware of the 8 categories under membership and engagement that you can use to measure your strategic plan. Under Rotary Foundation giving, these are the 5 types of goals that you can put in. And these are all auto update. So you put your goal in, and as people contribute, it gets updated within the system automatically. So anyone who accesses the district grants, most likely is putting money into the annual fund contribution so that you can access the district grants. So that's an easy one to even just put that goal in, if you know what it is. Because I know some of these other ones, they're a little personal, a little more intimate, that you may not know that someone's giving these things. So it might be harder to put those in. Service projects. So we'll talk about this a little bit more later. So this is the number of members, as I said earlier, that will participate in the club service projects during the year. There is a separate section in my Rotary, or club, Rotary Club goals, Rotary Club Central, that allows you to detail this. And it's very, very useful when you're thinking about putting on a fundraiser, or how many people do you need to volunteer for a certain project. Now, young leaders, this is where you're going to put in whether or not you have an existing, or you're planning on opening a new Rotaract or Interact clubs. Unfortunately, for this year, there are no inbound or outbound youth exchange students, so you should have no goals nor no achievements for 2020, 2021 on that. And then, of course, RILA. So again, these are very easy to count and easy to put in. And then last one, promotion. So I've put in pink the ones that are more or less a yes or no. Do you have a strategic plan? That's an easy one. Yes, we've achieved it. Do you have a online presence? Yes. Social activities and updating your website, social media. So can I stop there for a minute? Are there any questions, or does that make sense?
One of the questions that came through, Linda, I don't know, I've written a response to the person who posed it, but they wanted to know, where can we find these goals? So can you just remind people where they go, how they begin that search?
Yeah, so you go to My Rotary, and then you're going to end up on the main page. And the easiest way is to scroll down, and on the left-hand side, there's going to be your club snapshot. And if you scroll to the bottom of that, it's going to have a link right to your goal center. And then you're going to choose this goal center. I can do a demonstration at the end if you want.
Second question, Linda, from Mary. Who in the club can put in the goals? Who has authority to represent the club?
Yeah, I've got that at the very end, but there's only 5 people that can actually put the goals in. So it's the president, treasurer, secretary, membership chair, and the foundation chair of the year we're talking about. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So in the goals center, we had one question on service activities. So how many in your club will be participating in service activities? If you go to service activities, you have the opportunity to put a little more detail around. So allow your club to have a history of what you've done, and how many people and hours it took to make concrete decisions on going forward. So this is what it looks like. Once you get into it, it looks something like this. So you would add a new service project, you'd give it a title, and you'd put the summary in there. You put a start date and an end date, and of course it's not complete. And then from there, this is where you're going to put, how many volunteers will this take? So I'm going to do the food bank 4 times in this fiscal year. So our club, I put it in 4 separate times. So I know what dates. I put how many volunteers are generally needed. It's 12 to 15, so I might put 14. How many hours? They might each do 3 hours, so that would be, help me with my math, 42. And then I would say whether or not we also put some money in, the value of the goods donated if we donated clothes or food or anything else. And then you go down to the category. And the categories are, is this a community and international, vocational? What type of project is it? And then there's also these additional. So this is a multi-choice. You can choose, it's a community and it's for basic education and literacy, perhaps, or disaster, or, you know, whichever one of these it is. So if you choose area of focus, you get a further drill down, which is basic education and all of the rest of it. And then on the other side, do you have some partners? So is it Interact, Rotaract, other clubs? Is it a fellowship event? Or something other? Sorry, I'm moving our heads around here. I don't know if you can see me, but it's does that make sense? Can I go back? So that's where you put your goals in, and if you want to know how to update them and move things around, I'm happy to do one-on-ones, but I don't think I want to take the time today to actually show you how you update and do the rest.
Mm-hmm. Linda,
Okay.
a couple of questions are coming in that are very timely and specific. One of them is asking, should clubs input their goals for when should the clubs input their goals for the following Rotary year? And the second part, I think, of that thought stream was, should clubs use a club meeting to set goals? If you could offer a commentary on that.
Sure. So for next year, 21-22, I would think as soon as your new board is set and you have your first meeting in the spring or sometime, you know, like we have our first meeting in April for the new board, that's where you might want to have a discussion around what it's going to look like and what goals you want to do. You can do it a number of ways. You can have the committees, so you can have the membership committee come up with their goals, and the community service and international service committee come up with, you know, how many volunteer events and those sorts of things. Or you could have it as a club thing, or the board could do it. Those key members of the board. I prefer to see the whole club involved so they know what we're getting involved in, mm-hmm. Or at least have a discussion.
Another question is, it states, I'm the vice president of my high school's Interact Club. I was wondering if you had any tips on how to get more exposure on our activities so we can have more students participating.
Oh, that's a good question. So I just want to be sure I understand. So how to communicate what your Interact Club is doing within your school to generate interest is that what I'm hearing?
It says, I'm wondering if you had any tips on how to get more exposure on our activities so we can get more students participating. So
yeah, that sounds to me more like a promotional or a communication. Mm-hmm. So further on, we're going to show you what where the Interact and Rotaract clubs mm-hmm. choose their goals from and how they submit their goals.
Okay.
And I would suggest they communicate those within their school. Okay. And if they need help from their Rotary club, I think that's that's a fabulous request.
Good. That's all I have for now.
Okie doke. So also in Rotary Club Central, there's a dashboard. And in this dashboard, it gives you a really good view of what's happening in your club historically from a perspective of membership, age trends, gender trends, foundation, and a little bit of your volunteer service. And I know you can't see this very well. It was on purpose. It's our club, but it gives you, here's the membership trends. So our club is growing slightly. This is the gender trends. I want to point out that blue is female, red is male. These are the age trends. So this stuff is all in there. It's automatically populated for you. It's down here when you get to the project trends. So you can put fundraising in that service activities, which we do. And it gives you, what did you think you were going to do versus what did you actually do? So number of volunteers, given we've had COVID this year and we had all sorts of plans to do reset dinner and mustard seed dinners and food bank sorting and all sorts of things, and we couldn't get in because of COVID. Instead, our club has done things like gathering clothing and diapers and whatever food bank needed or whatever the mustard seed needed, or backpacks for ICANN for kids. And we counted those. So we added those as projects. We counted how many people donated, and that would be our volunteer, estimated about how much time it took the people running around. And so it allowed us to still track what we did from a volunteer perspective, because you don't want at the end of the year to look back and say, well, what did we do? This way you've got all sorts of things to pull from. And then the last one is the annual funds. So if you've put a target in and you've actually donated, that's where you're going to see it here. And again, it's something at the end of the year you can present to the club to say, look at what we did. Aren't we doing great? Because people forget, you know, that project is done and they've forgotten, they've moved on. So I'd encourage you to use the service activities. All right, so why is this important? So as I mentioned, I'm going to just talk about these two arrows. Those annual district goals and achievements, particularly for membership growth, roll up from the clubs to the district, to the zone, and to RI. So right now, for District 5360, we are a membership of about, Mary will correct me, but I'm going to say 1,634. But Mary's goal currently shows as 1,006. So she's telling RI, we're going to lose 500 and some members. And it's only because clubs have not put their membership goals in. So she has a little bit of explaining to do every so often. Secondly, citations for the first time ever are going to be calculated on the club goals set and achieved in my Rotary Club Central for clubs. So of those 25 goals we talked about, your club needs to have 13 goals input and achieved to get the citation. And I think this is easy. We could almost have every club meeting, getting a citation if we actually pay attention to what goals we know we can achieve. So this is a quick summary of the citations for Rotary clubs. You need 13 of the 25 goals in Rotary Club Central. Rotaract clubs, there is a PDF worksheet and there's 22 goals on there. You need 12 of the 20 goals. So Rotaract clubs should be discussing with their sponsor Rotary Club what goals, how they're going to get there, and the Rotary Club submits that document. And Interact clubs need to get 11 of their 20 goals. And again, I would suggest it's a PDF worksheet. It's not in Rotary Club Central. And again, I would suggest they sit and chat with their club and decide if there's any way the club can help and what goals make most sense. Before I go on, I'm going to stop there because are there any more questions on that, or have I gone too fast or jumped over something?
In looking at the Q&A, I can see Mary calling us all to help me fix this goal, and also saying she wants to hand out as many citations as she can. So I think we take that all to heart, Mary. Linda, that your comment. Linda, is it fair to say that at the end of the evening we'll be sharing your contact information, because some are asking if they will be able to contact you? So you want to
Oh,
comment?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
You can throw it in there. It's morris9linda@gmail.com.
Yeah, I'll put that in when I mail things out to the members tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So here's what I was saying. This one said 982, but Mary and I went in and fixed Old's membership goal. They had put they were going to gain 5. So it looked like at the end of the year, they were going to have 5 instead of what they have now plus the 5. So we're at 1,006. And our current membership is at 1644. So if our eyes looking at that, you can see, gee, you're going to lose a bunch. And that's not good. All right. So dream big, set big goals. So here's what I know. And I think it's actually 41 or 42%. I rounded it up a little bit. So the percentage of the clubs who have currently put some goals in Rotary Club Central, 43%. So 26 of the 46 clubs have no goals whatsoever in Rotary Club Central. So we have a little bit of work to do, and I think it's not hard work. I think it's doable. And clubs who have set 13 or more goals, which makes them eligible for a citation in Rotary Club Central for 2021, 17%. So here, if we really want some citations, we have a little more work to do. So resources. If you go into My Rotary, Rotary Club Central, and you go back to that menu on the left-hand side, you're going to see a little box called Resources. Within that resources, you will find all sorts of things. You'll find all of the information on how to set the goals. So you probably don't need me at all, but I'm more than happy to help you. How to set the goals, how to report on them, how to record your service activities, all that stuff about fundraising and volunteer hours, and then how to view all the information. That's all in this little part called resources. Now the citations, if Interact, Rotaract, or Rotary Club want to see the changes, you would go to Learning and Reference, Learn by Topics, and Awards, and it will give you all of the instructions on the citations for Rotary Clubs, Rotaract, Interact. I would encourage you to also look at these frequently asked questions, because they give a lot of definitions on what some of those categories are. For example, I had a bit of an issue with leadership training versus district training. But according to this, the district training is the spring when the DG runs that big training session for, it used to be pets and sets, and the rest of it is leadership training. So this would be leadership training. And again, to get to, it's just not another, it's another way to get to Rotary Club Central. If you go to Manage, Club and District Administration, Rotary Club Central. Or go to your main page and scroll down to My Club Snapshot, and you're going to see View Club Goals at the very bottom. If you click on that link, it will take you to your club goals. Now, if you're looking at entering this stuff, it's not too late for this year. If you're looking at entering it, you need to be the president, secretary, treasurer, membership chair, or foundation chair for 2020, 2021. If you're looking at entering it for the following year, which you probably will start thinking about that in February when we have our next big session, you'll need to be the president-elect, secretary-elect, treasurer-elect. And these names have to be in Club Runner, which feeds into my Rotary. So if you haven't put these 5 roles in Club Runner, my Rotary doesn't know who you are, so you won't be able to enter anything. So this is your first step. Make sure the right people are in there and the right people are entering the goals. And that's me. Done. Clear as mud.
It's a lot to take in, Linda, for sure. I know that a number of our guests tonight are asking about your presentation slides. I'm saying to them they will be shared with everybody. Your contact information will be shared. So some of you that have entered some Q&A sessions, you might find the answers better by contacting Linda directly. I'm monitoring things right now. I'm just teasing Linda. I told her the accolades would come in. Here they are. They're starting to flood in as the polls close.
We did have one more poll, Rick. I
Okay.
forgot all about it. I think I skipped right through it. If you wanted to do it.
Back to Rick then.
So that'd be really interesting to know if you have metrics that your club uses that are not represented in Rotary Club Central goals. It'd be really interesting to know what those are. Because if we ever get the opportunity to give some feedback to RI on those goals, we would need to know what that feedback should be. So if there's something big, I would encourage you to drop it into the Q&A or the chat or something, so we can record it. So it looks like by and large, we capture most of them, but there's a few that seem to have some measurements that they would like to see in, or that they measure that are not in my Rotary Club Central goals. Thank you. Very good. All right, for sure, that's me, done. Unless there's more questions or there's anything I can do to help.
Well, I think from here on out, Linda, people will certainly reach out to you. You're an absolute treasure of resources and knowledge, and we are just so blessed to have you amongst us. I know that all of us here tonight will join me in thanking Linda for a very kind of captivating and in-depth overview of our work. You know, it's complex, no denying that, but well done, Linda. We thank you very, very much. I'd just like to remind you in closing that I will be sending out, with Linda's permission, her PowerPoint presentation as a PDF, and that'll help you see again and remind yourselves where to go on certain screens. We'll also be uploading to the district's YouTube the recording of this event tonight, as well as all of the other materials that are attended to this tonight. Also inviting you for a little bit of a Christmas gathering. Mary would like us all to join her. If you go on events later on this month, you'll see there's a meeting planned, I believe, for the 16th of December, but I'll send a notice out to everybody. With that, I think in closing, we want to thank you for being here tonight, throwing in your questions that are obviously uppermost in your mind. And I know Linda will have time then to kind of walk you through a bit of a solution set through this. Obviously, Linda, your experience in your professional world translates very, very nicely into our work here within the district. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to close it off by handing it back to you, Linda.
All right, and I'm happy again. I'm just going to quickly put my email address in here. So if you want to get a hold of me, I'm happy to help out. I don't know everything. I'm learning as I go as well. So we may have to learn together if it's a really tough question.